Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of iSampleU with me, Dean, aka Dino Beats. This series has been super fun for me so far, and this might honestly be my best beat yet. If you're just joining me for episode 4, I really encourage you to go check out the first 3 episodes. They're all so much fun to make, and I think you'll really enjoy the beats. But if you need a recap, this project is just a recent brainchild of mine. I've been collecting any type of audio file, whether it's instrumental tracks, vocal acapellas, or any old funny phone recordings or anything, and turning them into a dope beat. So for episode 4, the submission came from my good friend Jeremy Horn. Let's see what he had to share. Of course, this is from a classic SpongeBob scene, so it was awesome to work with. So the first thing I did is I took Patrick's longer lead-a-leadle from the end, this part. And I found a tempo where I thought that kind of fit the best. And then I went in and cleaned up some of the background noise with iZotope's RX7 voice denoise. Then I used FabFilter's Pro Q3 EQ to get rid of a lot of the super low end and gave it a little bit of a boost around 12,500 hertz. Next was the fun part where I used Logic's built-in pitch corrector to auto-tune Patrick's singing voice. Next I put on the CLA2A compressor with a whole lot of peak reduction and a little bit of gain reduction. Next, the Butch Vgram vocal plugin that has a whole lot of different effects on it, as you can see. So the first thing I did was I boosted the air, which is usually 10,000 plus hertz, gave that a big boost. Presence, which is usually 4,000 to 8,000 hertz, gave that a decent boost. Cut some of the lows. I gave it a little bit of solid state saturation and some light compression, a little light de-essing to get rid of some of the harsher frequencies in there. And then I brought on the vocal rider just so that the overall volume of the vocal would be a little more consistent. So with everything on there, this is what that sounds like. The next thing I wanted to do, as usual, was make some kind of synthesizer sound using the sample. So I bounced out the sound of SpongeBob's first howl and put that into the quick sampler and just chose a little portion of it that I wanted to use. Then I brought on the FabFilter Pro Q3 EQ, gave it a boost around 800 hertz for a little more fullness, took out some harshness around 4,000 hertz, another little duck around 1,700 hertz, and cut off most of the high end above 13,000, and ducked some of the lows below 100, which was mostly mud and stuff. Compressed it at about a 4:1 ratio with the R compressor. Then I used the API 550A EQ emulator to cut about 4 dB at 200 hertz, boost 2 dB at 1.5 kilohertz, and cut a little bit of the harshness around 15 kilohertz. Then I used Soundtoys Tremolator to give it some movement, put on the Soundtoys Micro Shifter to give it a little more stereo depth, Soundtoys Echo Boy to give it a soft repeating echo, and use the C1 compressor as a sidechain with the kick drum. So before any of those effects, this is what that sounds like. And once everything is on there, this is what that sounds like. And then I just played some nice chords with that, and this is what it sounds like all together. Next, I wanted to make a different synth sound, so I brought up the Flying Dutchman's howl and put that in the quick sampler. And then I just took a portion of it that I wanted to use and looped it so I could play it on the keyboard. And without any effects, it sounds like this. Then I loaded up the FabFilter Pro Q3 once again, gave it a duck around 500 hertz and boosted around 4,000 hertz. Used the C1 compressor as the main compressor on this one at a ratio of about 6:1, and added the Soundtoys Pan Man so that it will automatically pan back and forth between your ears. Next, I sent it to a bus with the FabFilter Pro R reverb on it, where I gave it a pretty spacious reverb sound. And with everything on it, this is what that sounds like. Next, I decided I wanted to make some kind of percussion sound out of the sample, so I went back to it and listened to this part here. So because there's a sharp transient on the buh, I knew I could use that for something. So I bounced that section out and put it in the quick sampler, where I just took one little bit of it, and then I played it a little higher up on the keyboard, gave it the waves doubler to give it a little bit more stereo, kind of a chorusy effect. And although it was pretty simple, I thought it sounded pretty cool. So this is what I made out of that. Then for a different part of the beat, I used just one of the leadles and pitched it up and played it on the keyboard in a cool little pattern. And I took SpongeBob's second howl, EQ'd it, compressed it, and used the Sound Toys crystallizer to give it this crazy crystal effect. Then I got this kick from the Cymatics Eternity kit, layered this snare, and this clap, so together they sound like this. Added a really light open hi-hat sound. Added a sweet 808. Added some swells. A crash. And that's pretty much everything. So without further ado, here is the beat for episode 4 of iSampleU. Enjoy. Well, that's pretty much everything for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 4 of iSampleU. Once again, I'm still accepting submissions, so if there's anything you guys want to have sampled for a beat, please send it my way at productionbydino@gmail.com. Give this video a like, and feel free to comment if there's anything you guys want to see, hear, or know about in the next episode. Follow me on Instagram at dean.thebean. Hit the bell down below for channel notifications. And until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip-flop.